Receiving on behalf of Dolly is her granddaughter, Wendy Gruber.
Thank you very much for accepting my grandmother into this amazing organization. She was a wonderful woman, and there are lots and lots of stories I could tell you about her, but we only have so much time. In the brochure that was published for this evening, there's a lot of dates and accomplishments that she gave throughout the years, and I had written something up, and it includes a lot of those same dates and things, but I think one of the things that she would like to tell you most about is her mother and how she was inspired by her journey through life and her journey to America. Both her parents were immigrants from Czechoslovakia. They met after they came to the United States in Texas. Her mother grew up in a small Moravian town, which is in Czechoslovakia. She got a 4th grade education, spoke only the language that she grew up learning, really didn't know any other language existed, according to my grandmother. And when she was 22, she decided she was leaving Europe and coming to the New World. She worked as a maid to earn the money for the journey, despite the crushing poverty that they lived in. And she made that trip across the ocean by herself, without anyone to help her, without anyone to translate. I think it was on the first train to Germany that she discovered that there were other languages out there, and she didn't know what they were. It was always her goal to become a landowner. And that was something that in her that she just felt was the ultimate in success. If you owned land, you had a place to be. And that was one of my grandmother's greatest inspirations and one of her greatest goals as well. She grew up a daughter of a sharecropper farmer. They moved around from Texas, had a failed homestead in Minnesota, and moved from Michigan all over. And despite that, she was able to get a high school education and actually put herself through college as well, and earned a degree in accounting at Cleary College in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Throughout her life, she had the drive for education and the drive to become a landowner. And 24 years after her parents staked their claim on a homestead in Minnesota, she staked her claim here in Alaska with her husband. Much different place, much different outcome than what her parents had. And I would say she was greatly successful just in the fact that she stayed and this was her home. Her husband Jack and her started out in Anchorage and heard of a homestead who the homestead was going to be going back to the state. The man and his wife who claimed the homestead, the wife decided that there was no way she was staying down on the Kenai Peninsula while her husband was in Anchorage enjoying the good life. My grandmother said, "I'll take that spot." So her and my grandfather moved on down. They lived in a tent while they built their cabin. They had 4 children here. And her mother came to live with them later on in life, and she spent the remainder of her days here until 1971 when she passed away, and she'd enjoyed every minute of it. All the stories that my grandmother tells about my great-grandmother are just amazing. Loving spending time out on the beach with her daughter and her son-in-law, commercial fishing, taking care of the kids, making sure nobody fell off the bluff, things like that. So it was very important for my grandmother to push for education, also to push for the community. And as was stated earlier, she really wanted a hospital in Soldotna. She really wanted a library. So she donated part of her homestead for a hospital to be built. And we have a wonderful hospital on the Kenai Peninsula now as a result of that. We also have some wonderful libraries that she continued to support throughout her life, even after her death recently. She can continue to support that. For me, she was a huge inspiration as well. She went back to college at the age of 54 and got a degree in political science. I thought all grandmothers did that. It wasn't until later when, I went to college and people were talking about the non-traditional student, those older folks who were coming back to school at the ripe age of 30. I was like, I think my grandma was a little older than that when she went back to school. But she continued to do a lot of things for our community, and she loved Soldotna. She loved the people there. They loved her back, and we're certainly gonna miss her. I want to say a thank you to Marge for the nomination. I know she was really proud to know that it happened. She didn't know that she was inducted into the Hall of Fame, but she knew she had been nominated, so thank you, Marge.